What is good, folks? It's all things country here, and today we got something I'm super excited about. It's finally starting to warm up outside, and while we can't go prospecting, we are going to put together a sluice with this power head that I just got from Jason over at Flower Gold Wizards. This is his Smoothwater 6-inch sluice power head, and we're going to show you what sluice we're going to put it on shortly. But when we're all said and done, we've got about 40 pounds of cons, plus this black sand challenge bag from BC Gold Adventures. And we're going to be putting this bad boy to the test. So we are going to be pimping out this Dream Mat Trek sluice. This is a 6x24 sluice, 16 inches of mat. This is the mini mat. It is not the micro mat, which it would be ideal for that fine gold. But you'll see how the setup's going to work because I'm going to be using this in conjunction with my Gold Hog mini stream sluice. So the idea is when all is said and done, I'm going to have two setups. My son prospects with me, so we'll be able to split them up, have two setups, or put them together and have one long setup. And I'll have a setup that I can bring to the beach that's a bit longer to capture some of that super fine gold. So really straightforward. This just slides on there like that. Works like a charm. But we've got a lot of work to do with this sluice. Nothing to do with the power head. One thing that I very much dislike about this Dream Mat design is this lip here. If you're processing fine gold like I do, this thing gets in your way, your fine gold can jam up against that. We are going to put an indicator mat in here so that we can use this sluice even without a power head. But that being said, we're going to have to get this mat out, get it soaking in some dish detergent because it does have a lot of release agent. I can actually feel it. And we're going to have to get all this protective film off of it. There are very few things in life more satisfying than peeling off cling wrap. Now, what we're going to do now is we're going to put an indicator mat up top. It's going to do two things. It's going to bridge this little gap so the fine gold doesn't get stuck there. It's also going to work, obviously, as an indicator mat, but it's also going to help hold the sluice head over here more securely. That being said, we can't go too thick. So what I got is this shelf paper off of Amazon. Not very thick at all, as you can see. And we're going to mount it with some Gorilla Tape. So between the thickness of the Gorilla Tape and the shelf mat, we should bridge this gap so everything flows right over the top and nothing gets stuck here, but still leave enough space to get our power head on. So we are 6 inches across by 4 1/4 deep. So I'm going to go cut that mat now, and we'll come back and we'll install it. All right, so we've got our indicator mat cut. It totally didn't take 6 tries to get it properly. Trust me. So what we're going to do before we put this on, we got our Gorilla Tape all ready to go. I like to give this a spray of a little solvent. Spread that solvent around. That's a little bit overkill there, but that's fine. Dry that up a little bit. Let's see here. There we go. Just dry it so it's a little tacky. And you're going to put this on. I did cut it a little longer than I needed, so it's going to hang off the back, but I've got a super sharp knife we can use to trim it afterwards. But there we go. We're just going to lay that down. Give that a nice firm hold. And this stuff is really strong, flexible plastic. It's not meant to hold your gold. It's just meant to slow it down a little. So you get a look when you dump the scoop in, that's all. All right. So we'll let that dry and we're going to give this a cut and then we can try putting our power head on and see how that looks. All right. Well, super pleased how that turned out. We don't have a lip here anymore. In fact, there's a little bit of a lip going the other way. So all your dirt and gold will pass over. The mat should hold it up if we're using it in the stream as a regular stream sluice without the power head. I mean, realistically, this indicator mat is useless otherwise because we're going to have our power head on. Speaking of which, let's give that a shot. Make sure that still fits great. Nice and snug. And now you've taken up that gap. That is awesome. That's exactly what I wanted to see. And it's going to sit up on its legs like that at a 9-degree pitch. Can't wait to try this bad boy out.
But you ain't got no legs, Lieutenant Dane.
Yes, I know that.
So yes, we are indeed going to need to put some legs on this bad boy. So what we're going to use is I cut these to 18 inches. This is some aluminum square stock, nice and light, easy to pack. That's going to make up our legs. And I bought this leg kit off of eBay. So it's these 4 clamps. You'll notice that there's 2 different varieties, one with the screw handle on top and one on the bottom. And the reason for that is there's small squares in there to hold your legs when you're not using your sluice. So they store compact and easy, and you can put them in your pack. So really simple and straightforward. Just going to turn this bad boy over. Put that in place. Hold it nice and flush. Make sure it's straight on the edge. We're going to mark our screw holes here. So we can screw these out, make our holes, and mount our legs. So I will we'll finish these other 4, head out to the shop and drill them, and we'll be right back. All right, well, we got our leg brackets on, and I couldn't be more pleased. Check this out. So there's our brackets there. And you can see I've got it set up on the other side where the brackets have the holes in the side to actually hold your legs when they're not in use. Super, super awesome feature. Sluice looks awesome, in my opinion. We toss our power head on. Then check that bad boy out. That is awesome. Now I put my power head on. I can see that I'm going to have to turn this bolt sideways so it's not crooked. But other than that, perfect. And here we are ready to rock. We're all set up. We were leveled to a 9-degree pitch. This thing, I think, looks fantastic. All we have to do is head outside. Let's give this thing a whirl.
That's a great sluice. If I made a sluice, it would be better than that. But that sluice is great.
What's so great about that sluice? Does it make ice cream?
Shut up, Joe. All things country is making sluices great again.
Alrighty then. Well, wouldn't be much of a test if we didn't have some gold-bearing dirt to put through it. So here we have about 40 pounds of concentrates. This is all stuff from old pay dirts that I've done. There's a little bit from the bottom of a bucket at camp that I threw in here. As you can see, quite a bit of dirt, but I don't know for sure how much gold is in there. I take it we are about to find out. But what we will do is grab this bag of BC Gold Adventures Black Sand Challenge, because I don't want to water this pay dirt down with beginner stuff. I want this test to be reflective of the gold that I actually go after, which is super, super fine gold. So we know this has black sand in it. We're not watering down our cons here. And this will give us a really good test with some super fine gold to be able to test our system out with. I have done this pay dirt in the past. It is here on my channel. If you guys want to go watch it afterwards. But the gold from this stuff is super, super fine. So we are going to mix this in really, really good, because we're going to be processing this entire 40-pound container. All right, well, here's our system all set up. We've got our lithium-ion battery feeding to a recirc pump that's recirculating in that tub over there. We are leaking a bit of water from this piece of the Gold Hog right here. It's not really meant to be a recirculating system. I could probably tape that up with some Gorilla Tape or something, but I've actually got my hose here. So I'm just going to replenish this tub as needed. Pretty cool looking setup. We actually have, I've added some biodegradable dish soap to the water, just because I am going to dump this outside. Not the end of the world if you drop a jet dry, but if you got it, may as well use it. So let's crank this up and we'll see how it runs. And that is smooth as silk. I don't even need to put my speed controller on here. That is running absolutely perfect. So let's get our cons fed through and see what comes out in the pan. right, well, let's take a quick look. Looking in my dream mat here, might be hard for you guys to make out. Right here, you can see all that fine gold starting to build up. And those riffles were only about 3 inches down the dream mat. But I'm sure there's stuff all over here. But just look, there's one example there. Look at all that fine gold building up in those riffles. If we go down to where the gold hog has its drop off, look at the start of the mat right, where can I find it here? Right in there. Look at that nice line of fine gold that's catching. I can't wait to see how well these did. So let's get the mats out of here, get them into the gold pan and pan it out. All right, so just to show you guys, this is what we got for concentrates from the 2 sluice mats. Now, I just spent a great deal of time panning out all the rest of the tailings. We did lose some gold, but not too bad, 0.071 grams. So I'm going to pan this out, and we're going to be able to tell you exactly how much we caught versus how much we lost. All right, well, we've been at it for quite a while. Still got some cleanup to do. Forgot how much black sand there was in that pay dirt, plus whatever was in the dirt naturally. I didn't remove anything or remove any magnetics, but we're starting to look really good. We got quite a bit of really nice fine gold. I'm going to finish cleaning this up. We're going to dry it up, and then we'll be able to get our weight. All right, well, it's weigh-in time. Super fine stuff that paints the side of the pan. You try and scrape it onto the scale. Got to be super delicate and gentle with it. This adds up really quick, though, on the scale. Definitely well over a gram, anyway. Holy cow, man. It's like clinging for dear life to the gold pan. And boom, just like that, 1.16 grams. Alrighty, now let's run some numbers. So the gold that we found in the tailings was 0.071 grams, and we caught 1.16 grams in the sluice. So the total gold recovered was 1.231, with 1.16 grams in the sluice, with an awesome recovery rate of 94.3% on that super fine beach gold. I can't tell you from my experience how good that is. You have to keep in mind, we are running beach level fine gold on a 6-inch sluice. That is an incredible recovery rate. So let's go to the review and some of the things that I learned. So here's a little something that I learned today before we get to the review of the Powerhead. I don't like the fact that the Dream Mat does not have a flare on the back. I'd much rather run the Gold Hog into the Dream Mat, and it looks like it would actually fit a lot better. So I've gone ahead and I've ordered the Micro Mat for the Dream Mat so I can do just that. But now for the review on the Powerhead. So first off, the best thing about it is smooth. Here's a picture of what my Gold Hog system looks like when it's running. You've got to mount the head backwards. The water action is super violent. You have to put Gorilla Tape across the back if you want to run it as a recirculating system like we did today. The smooth water is way better. Now, a definite positive is also the price tag. The 6-inch we used today was $40 plus shipping. The Dream Mat system that goes with this sluice is $93 plus shipping. And you might say, okay, well, it's made out of metal versus 3D plastic, but we're going to get to a reason why that's not a good thing. Now, the Powerhead that I already have for the Gold Hog is $80 plus shipping. Now, granted, that's tailored specifically for the Gold Hog system, but as I said earlier, this one actually performed better. So you're wondering why I might say that plastic construction is a good thing? Well, first of all, this plastic is tough. I mean, these clips are super solid, but these clips are the reason the plastic is a good thing, and that's because you can do toolless installation. I prospect in Canada where it's really cold sometimes. Jason's from Wisconsin. I mean, it can get cold. Your fingers can freeze. Even you can see the clamps that I use to attach. I buy the toolless ones, so I don't have to fiddle with screws and screwdrivers and drop stuff in a creek or a river or what have you. Being able to have this slide on and off and be super solid is a big plus. And if you did want to install it permanently, there is 2 holes here. You could drill some holes in your sluice and use wing nuts if that's your thing. That's available too. But to me, this is really solidly built, and the toolless installation is huge. Now, this thing does have one downside, and it is very, very minor. If you look at the design of this, you can see that the water feeds in through the hose, and it's kind of a wedge shape. And in here is a hollow chamber. I think that it's that chamber that gives it such a nice smooth flow. So that's why I really don't think this is a big deal. But the one thing I will say is whenever I took this off the sluice, disconnected the hose, I had a little bit of trouble getting all the water out from inside. So if you want to take this off your sluice end of the day and throw it directly in your pack, you can expect to get some water in your pack, which is never a really good thing. So really simple solution is just to either let it dry or to maybe get a Ziploc bag, toss it in a Ziploc bag at the end of the day, and then dry it out when you get back home or to camp. But very, very minor thing, but I think it's a necessary evil in order to get the smoothest flow that this thing delivers. So bottom line, would I recommend this? Absolutely. There are so many uses for this. This could be the basis for a budget sluice build. You could get some aluminum channel or steel channel, get some cheap VMAT, some miner's moss, what have you. Start a cheap setup. You could use it as a cleanup sluice. In fact, there's a 3-inch version I'm told from Jason that's coming, so I can't wait to see that. But more than anything, I don't mind spending a bit of money on my hobbies. And regardless of the fact that this is cheap, it just works. It's awesome. So it delivered. I mean, look, the results we got speak for themselves. The gold was all caught for the most part, and then we really put it to the test. We used some super fine gold. So I think Jason's got a real winner here. And you know what? I'm going to give it 4.8 PBR out of 5. Cobbles, folks. Jason, great product you got here. Cheers. We'll catch everyone on the next one.